My name is Jack. I like to think that being vulnerable is a skill that is important to have and can help aid in self-improvement. It's tough though, and something that people have trouble with doing because you're outing things about yourself you think aren't right or that you might be judged for. But I'm seeing that this is something that can help improve myself and you as well. This is the art of being vulnerable. When I was in high school and early college, I never let my emotions out. Whether it was something personal in my life or anything that upset me, I never let anything show. I didn't want any sign of weakness within me, and it always affected me in the back of my mind. The constant thoughts just building and building up from the problems I faced, because for most people around me, the right thing to do was to be strong, show that I can face the world and be strong. I kept telling myself that I would solve it myself, but sometimes, no matter how hard you try, it can be tough to conceptualize these thoughts. But always keeping everything locked away in your head is not always good. You need to release tension from time to time to either get things off your mind or let go of things that are bothering you. As I've stated in the past, I've struggled heavily with overthinking and anxiety, both within my head and social situations. And while I've been getting much better in recent years with controlling my social anxiety and working on my other thoughts, it has been tough. Being vulnerable is a scary thought, especially if you were insecure like me for so many years. It's always built in my head and felt like there was this static pulsating throughout my head. It was torture. But after I had my final straw earlier this year with my personal mental health, I wanted to make a change. I knew I had to make a choice to become more vulnerable. As I said before, being vulnerable is not easy and isn't something that just magically happens overnight. But continuously working at it will change your perspective and can possibly help you with some of your problems, just like it has for me. Looking at the bigger picture is something that has helped me out tremendously. If you think about it, there are so many things that happen in our lives that really won't affect us. Our mind makes up these situations that it's life or death if something bad happens to us, and tricks us into being anxious. Being anxious about a hurricane is justifiable, but being worried about another person or something else is bullshit. I mean, really, straight up. So, if this is the case, and there are these things that won't affect us, why not be vulnerable and open up a little bit? The way I think about it is like this. If I tell someone something that I'm going through, they're gonna end up forgetting about the conversation in a few months. So what's the worry? I should also preface that I have amazing people around me in my life that I know will listen to me and care about me. But if you don't in your current situation, make sure you find someone who will. They're out there. So after pondering the thought of being a little more vulnerable, I decided to go for it. And after slowly getting into it, I'm really glad I did. The weight that has been lifted off my shoulders was indescribable. Just saying, screw it. I'm going to open up and show the side of me that struggles was a real powerful moment in my life. I was living free, and just being able to be comfortable to release my problems was a great thing. Whether it was my parents or a therapist, just getting to let go of things and talk through them made me feel so much better inside. There was nothing to worry about. If you all are struggling with something like this, I would suggest doing something similar. But there is another layer to this that I never thought of that I need to discuss. With everything in life, there is a balance that needs to be applied to it, and that goes for being vulnerable as well. Recently, I've been a little too vulnerable, and I know it sounds counterintuitive, but since I've opened up a little more, I've gotten a little too comfortable. Recently, I've opened up with my friends more, along with me drinking from time to time makes for a really bad combination, to where I open up too much to the wrong people. There can be people that you are cool with and that you love, but they're just not the right people to say something to. And that was something that I needed to learn. Vulnerability is important, but there's a spectrum of people that you should do that with. You don't need to open up to the world, and that is something I realistically learned very recently. It's good to be open about problems you deal with and get them out of your system, but only to the right people. And as hard as it can be to see that, it's reality. So while I've been learning to be more vulnerable and reach out, there's an extent to which I should say to certain people. And this is something that I will continue to apply from experiences that I'm applying to myself to grow and become the ideal version of myself, which for a fact I know now that I'm on the right road to. Well, I hope you all know how important some form of vulnerability can be, and how it might unlock new parts to yourself and help you find peace within yourself and become that desired person. Vulnerability is a key component, I feel like, to unlocking your inner demons and releasing them so that you can become your true self, just as I've been striving to do. There is an art to being vulnerable, so many components and strokes to master the art, but the only way you can do it is by actually doing it. Be yourself and be a little vulnerable every once in a while. It could and will lead you to great things in the future. As I've said in the past, I may not be there yet, but I am damn well sure on my way, and I'm more dedicated than ever to get there. Embrace the art of vulnerability.